Good morning. David Bowser, Athletic Director, Head Football Coach at St. Augustine's University, coming to you this morning from Emory Gym with a tough loss on our hearts after Saturday. Lost 41-14 to Winston-Salem State. Thought we did some things well, but the two categories that hit us and hurt us the most are always the most simple things. One, we turned over the ball at the most inopportune times. Winston-Salem was able to capitalize on that. And then number two, we did not run the football as well as we did the week before. And because we were ineffective being able to run the football, and Winston was very effective in running the football, but it was more so we had a lot of missed tackles. Our run fits at times because of some of the formations that they put on us. They were able to find extra creases, but I will say the kids played hard. We scored off of special teams, which was big. Chris Perkins was able to get a touchdown pass to Jalen Searmans, who continues to improve weekly at that tight end position. So we saw some positives, but one thing about it is you got to protect the football. Number two, you've got to be able to run the football in this league to be successful. So with that being said, to open up the floor now, I'll go to Mr. Chris Clark with any questions pertaining to the game from this past Saturday and anything moving forward.
Coach, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. I want to know about health-wise, what you can share with us about your quarterback. I know that he'd taken a few hits and sat the tail end of that one out. How's Chris doing?
As of today, all I can say is Chris did not practice this morning. So we're going to be day-to-day with that. We'll know our decision at least by Wednesday. The agreement with the training staff is let's see where he is by Wednesday before we go any further with that. We did get some good news. Jonathan Goldsboro was cleared and was able to come back today and practice, and he looked really well. We missed him on Saturday on defense. He's one of our better tacklers, so it was good to have him back. We do have a couple of tight ends, Leon Goldsboro and Takeo Shakur, because Saturday was a very physical game. Everybody knows that one thing about it, when you play Winston-Salem State, you're going to play some physical football. So we need to see where they are health-wise this week. Other than that, Chris Perkins was the biggest injury that we had on Saturday. And then besides Takeo Shakur and Leon Goldsboro, so we can see where they are.
Coach, I know that the offense might not be where you want it to be, but there's another third of your squad special teams that shows up every single week. And it doesn't matter if it's Winston, doesn't matter who you're playing. They always seem to get in there, rush in, make a play. What is it about that unit that has them playing so ferocious? Because they're almost there a lot. And every once in a while, they'll pop and make a big play, and not just a big play for loss, but I mean, they'll scoop it and score for 6.
Yeah, well, I think the best thing about it is that Coach Barber, Coach Hobbs, Coach Tate, Coach Council, and Coach Ingman do a great job of coaching up our special teams. We put a lot of coaches in on the special teams, and the reason why we do that is because the more eyes, the more ears the guys understand. And we also use our starters on special teams. As you would know, the one that scooped and scored, Jordan Presley, starting D lineman, he blocked the extra point. Keandre Cofield, one of our starting safeties, he was the one that scooped and scored. Also, Jordan Black, who starts for us, made them rush that punt that they kicked out the back of the end zone that they shanked, gave us good field position. He's a starter. So the two things is we got a great group of coaches that really take special teams serious. And the second thing is that we put our starters on special teams and they do an outstanding job. I want to give a lot of credit also to Coach Barber on our kickoff return, because we were able this week to start on the 35 and the 40, the -35 and -40, when a couple of weeks we had struggled. We were always starting on the -20, maybe -25, but he did an outstanding job of working with the kickoff return team, and those guys were getting us in good position. And then also we really, our kickoff team, we made an adjustment. William Reed did a great job of kicking that thing right down the middle, but not a deep middle, but we were going with our deep squib. Coach Tate adjusted some of the guys, and we were getting good coverage on the kickoff team that was helping control the field position. So we really do take special teams every day. We've been watching a lot more film with it because we understand that we've got to be able to score in all phases of the game. And I was glad Saturday that it paid off and we were able to score in special teams.
Switching gears here to this week's opponent, Livingstone. After you watch what Shaw did, and I know that you look for weaknesses in there, but I'm not sure that you can exploit the same weaknesses like Shaw did, because Andre Brandon plays for the Bears and not you guys. But
right,
I want to say they might be susceptible to the run, but I don't know if that was just a constant pounding thing from those guys, or what could you take from that win that shows you a few little weaknesses there from those ice blue bears, if you would?
Well, I'll say this. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go back and match up games, but I'm not sure if Livingstone may have had some injuries on defense because they have been playing very good defense. But I also will say this that Coach Jones, veteran coach in this league, played in the CIAA. He understands the importance on certain times of when you got to be able to establish the run, and they did a great job, just as you said, of being able to run that football. So we watched yesterday's game and saw what they did. But I'm going to go back and check the Winston game and then also the Fayetteville game to see if maybe Livingstone might have had some injuries where they were missing a few guys on defense, because that is a possibility. Because one thing I'm not going to do is fool myself for these kids and think that Livingstone doesn't play good defense, because still at the end of the day, if I'm correct, I think 14 of Shaw's points were off of special teams. So that means that they may have had a little bit of a bend approach, but they weren't trying to break. And if they only gave up 14 points on defense, that was a pretty good day's work. So, but you're absolutely right. We're going to go back and evaluate even more to see if maybe there were a few key pieces that might have been missing for them.
Just looking at one of the things that where they were susceptible to, I want to say one guy, Kevin Larkins came up with, 3 interceptions in that thing. So
Right.
you can, you've got a problem with the secondary, and one of the things you guys do is throw the football. Is there a change in approach? Is there anything maybe not going that way, figuring out where Kevin is the whole time, or how do you deal with somebody like that?
Well, what you got to do is you got to be smart. We got to test them. If you're going to test him deep. We don't want to test him on a on a hitch, and the next thing you know, he's hitting his head on the goalpost. So what we got to do is if we test him deep, it might be just like a punt, you know. So we have to take and decide how we're going to play against a guy that can get his hand on the ball like that. And then the other thing too is, and I'm not hiding it, and I've been saying it week in and week out. What I just want to see us do that could help solve that problem, that he doesn't touch a lot of balls. Let's just get to running the football and giving our guys a chance to grind that thing out and then get some play action. And play action sometimes can get them. We may have to work them on some double moves and things of that nature, but just straight up, you're right. That's a big time player right there that they have.
And just flipping it over to the other side of the football there, the quarterback under center, Silas. Not afraid to spin it, not afraid to get it downfield, but obviously he can be baited into mistakes. And I'm assuming it's just a pressure thing, trying to get to him before he can get the ball off for this week.
Well, he's a big quarterback. So the one thing about when you got kids standing there 6'5", 6'6", and you let them stand in the pocket and stand on their mark, they're going to pick you apart. So you're absolutely right. We're gonna have to bring some fire zone pressures on him. We want to, make him think it's coming from one way, roll the coverage the other, and see if we can make him turn the ball over. But if we only go with a 3-man rush or 4-man rush, and we let a 6'6" quarterback stand in there, it's going to be a long day for us. He's definitely an outstanding kid with a big arm, and so what we got to do is we got to be smart. We got to be smart. So yes, we're gonna definitely look at running some fire zone pressures at him to get him off his mark and see if we can flush him out of the pocket a little bit and see if he can run.
One of the things that I noticed when you guys were playing Winston, maybe not in the first quarter, but it seemed like every single one of your guys on defense was arriving, not just to the quarterback, but to the running backs that they would cycle in throughout. And you could tell that they just did not want to take the hits. And one of the assistant coaches compared it to a boxer going to the body. In the first round, it's not going to be there. Second round, maybe not. Fourth or fifth round, they're going to start showing up and they're going to start feeling it. It looked like right around halftime, start of the third quarter is when it really started paying off. How do you develop, first of all, that intensity? Because it's something where you don't see it right away and everybody wants the big play, but how do you develop and keep that intensity on your defense? Because that's not the only time I've seen that with your D linemen and linebackers, especially.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that Coach Tate, Coach Crutchfield, Coach Ingman, Coach Council, and Coach Fitzgerald, they do a great job on that side of the ball of preaching high intensity. So the guys buy into being high intensity. And the other thing that we do is, you can't have a lot of body-to-body contact, but we have the wheel, we've got the big bags, and we've got the launch pad. So we do a lot of things with the contact, and it's not necessarily against body to body type things, but the guys do get opportunities to be physical. And the one thing I was counting on Saturday was, I said, man, if everything goes right, maybe we'll just run Stafford into fatigue. I was banking like that time. I think it was NC State played Minnesota, and the running back from Minnesota in the first half had run for so many yards. In the second half, he ran out of gas, and State was able to come back and win the game. But what they did was they did a good job of rotating 2 or 3 more backs in there, and those guys, we were able to get some good shots on them. And by the fourth quarter, Stafford was able to finish out the game for them. So I thought they did a great job of rotating the backs in their backfield. But you're right, we were getting some good shots on them, and the physicality was there with our defense, which they do a great job of coaching and preaching every day. The big thing we've got to do is we got to be able to wrap up. I mean, we were getting the shots on them, but we weren't necessarily wrapping them up sometimes. And a good back with good balance, you can get a good clean hit on him, but his balance is so good. I mean, he was out there, he's doing some of the things that you used to see a Walter Payton do. I mean, he was like, guys are sliding off of him like he had grease on him or something, but we were hitting him, but we just couldn't wrap him up like we needed to. So point of emphasis this week, because we know Livingstone's watched that film, and maybe they're going to try to run some zone at us. They're going to try to run some of that misdirection insert. So then we've got to be really prepared. And these guys are going to have to tackle this week, because that may be the option that they go with, because they saw that in the last game. Winston was able to expose us a little bit with the running game. And the frustrating part is I thought we did a great job a few weeks ago against the running back Byers from Union. And then we did a good job against the running back from V-State. And then we come out on Saturday, and the first few drives, we really didn't do a good job of getting him down. And I think that got his confidence and the O-line for Winston's confidence going, and they were able to run the ball on us pretty well.
And last but not least here, this is not the final home game in the area, but final home game for you guys, I want to say. How important is it to send the crew out that has been here, the couple upperclassmen that you do have on this squad, try and send them out on a high note for what they've been helping to build, and for bringing along the guys that are behind as well, to finish with intensity, finish with a flourish, if you will.
Yeah, well, so here we are, and here's the funny part. I'm glad you brought that up. So we're sitting here, and we're getting ready for senior day, and we thought we were going to have 2, Jawan Manning and Booker Peak, but because of the COVID-20 year, Booker Peak actually gets this year back, and he can graduate, and he's going to look at staying in graduate school. He and I talked the other day. So here we are with the roster of 115 guys, and we're only going to have 1 senior walking out on Saturday. So yeah, I thought it was 2, but it's only going to be 1 senior on Saturday. Jawan, who has now used his 2 years, and he'll get his master's in December. I commend him for that, because he came in and knocked it out. Graduated from East Carolina in 4 years, came here, and he did his credits to finish up his master's degree in a year and a half. So, and Jawan wants to get into coaching, so I'm definitely going to see what we can do to get him on staff, because he's been a great addition to our program. And matter of fact, he's up playing in the golf tournament with the golf team this morning. He'll be back this afternoon. The epitome of what student athletes are supposed to be: a kid working at a high level, playing dual sports and representing the university and his family well. I sent him a shout out because he's a local kid. He's a Raleigh kid that came back home and is doing outstanding things for us. And I was really excited because Booker Pete started for us last week, did a great job, came in the week before the homecoming game when Goldsboro Jonathan got hurt, and finished out that game for us. And so knowing that Booker's going to be able to come back, put a smile on my face. So with 115 guys, we got 114 that'll be returning next year. So I'm excited about that. And then we're going to get out and recruit and add some more pieces to this puzzle.
That's intimidating, actually, just numbers alone with the guys that are coming back with experience. But the last question I wanted to ask you about is, I know that the scoreboard hasn't been there and the record hasn't been there, but unlike some other programs, I don't see a Falcon on the police blotter at all. And I always see the grades, like you're talking about, from the football team being at or near the top. How satisfying is it on that side of things? Because you did say it's student athlete, students first. How satisfying is it to be able to impact those lives like that, and to have your team maybe not excel in the field like you want numbers wise for the wins and losses, but get it done in the classroom, to know that they're getting their degrees and getting their master's certificates in some cases?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of these guys. You're sitting here right now. Jordan Presley's here. He's in graduate school. Marcus Davis is here. He's in graduate school. We also have like I just said, Jawan Manning here in graduate school. These young men are examples to the younger players of what they're here for. When I got hired here, the overall team GPA was 2.13, and now we're at a 2.78. And you're talking about with over 100 kids academically. We had kids that were getting honor scholarships last week at the homecoming banquet. They did an academic scholarship banquet, and we got football players, not only in my sport, but other sports, and they're getting the academic scholarships. So that says a lot about what this university stands for. And what's a great recruiting tool is that we go out and tell parents, you can get a great education here. You can do a lot of things coming from St. Augustine's University. We reach back, we use, for example, successful people have come from this school and not only been successful in sports, but been successful in business, been successful in life, or running corporations right now, starting their own businesses, people that are going back and helping in the government. So I'm proud of the fact that these kids are here and that they've persevered through what's been a tough season. It hadn't been easy. It's not the way we expected it to go, but we also played, as everybody knows, one of the toughest schedules with our first 6 games. Now, the way we finished up on Saturday and when we met this morning in the team meeting, I let it be known that I was disappointed in the fact that we didn't close out this game the way we should have. I felt like Winston-Salem was a winnable game, not making excuses, take my hat off to Coach Massey and them. And I told the kids they were more physical and they were more prepared. And we have to work on those things. But we came out here this morning and we had a very locked in practice. And I told the guys, that's what it's going to take this week. Us being young, we have to be consistent. I told them consistency is the key. We felt really good after homecoming. We thought we had arrived. Winston smacked us in the mouth a little bit to let us know we hadn't got there yet. So now we got to bounce back this week. And then the following week is our rival game. So, I mean, when you got your rival on the rise and you really want to put your best foot forward so that we can give them something to think about. So Livingstone gives us an opportunity to bounce back. But yeah, overall, I'm really proud of these kids because I want them to remember you're here to get your education. Football is what got you here, but the key for you being here is that we want you to get an education. And those guys do a great job in the classroom and also participating in the community and being a part of this institution. So no, I'm really proud of them.
Appreciate you taking the time, Coach. Good luck on Saturday. I'll see you out there.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Clark, and everything that you do for us in the CIAA, because you support all of our schools, but not only that, also what you do for Campbell and Central and giving us the opportunity to get a platform as well. I mean, everybody knows about the main 3, as they like to put it, but you really do a great job of promoting everybody across the board, and it's really appreciated, I know, by my colleagues and peers, because you do take the time out to support and show that our kids, our student athletes work just as hard and are prepared as well as anybody else, and that we have a good product down here as well. So thank you for that on that end. I thank you for what you do for us.
Appreciate it. What do they say? CIAA for life. So
that's what they say, my brother. CIAA for life. So what I'll do now is I'm going to go ahead and close out with a statement just to say that want to wish the best to our volleyball team today. They'll be going down to Claflin to play a big Southern Division game. The ladies are playing outstanding volleyball right now. I want to give a shout out to our men's and women's cross country. This Thursday will be the CIAA conference meet. We have a great opportunity to finish in the top 3, if not win it. Coach Chapman has 2 outstanding runners, one with the women and one with the men, that are going to be very competitive coming up on Thursday at the CIAA cross country meet in Salem, Virginia. Want to shout out to our men's and women's basketball, who this past weekend, Friday night, they did a madness. The kids in the gym, the students came over, student engagement. I want to thank Mr. Durant. I want to thank Dean Watts and their staff for coming over and making it a great experience, not only for the students on the university, but also for our men's and women's basketball team. I want to thank the cheerleaders for coming out and doing that on Friday night, and then still being prepared and doing a great job on Saturday with the spirit and the support at the football game. So we got a lot of good things going on. Can't forget, we're looking forward to it. We'll be getting information out soon, but we'll be doing some things to promote indoor track. We'll be getting with Coach Gary and Coach Jackson to set up a photo shoot and media day to introduce our indoor track team to everybody, because they'll be getting cranked up soon. And then, of course, we have softball, golf. Golf this weekend is up in Richmond playing. So I want to wish Coach Wells the best on that. And I just continue to say the same thing. Support St. Augustine's University. We've got great leadership at the top. We've got great students here. We got great faculty and staff. That's why they call it, and I'm going to say it again, the Miracle on Oakwood. There's something about this place that if you ever come by, visit with us, meet with us, you'll see how special it is. But just want to wish all of our sports teams well. Please come out this Saturday for 1 p.m. kickoff against Livingstone. And let's send our one senior off the right way and keep those 75 freshmen and sophomores that we have encouraged. But Jawan Manning has been a great example of what you want in student athletes, and when they come to college. And he's finished with his bachelor's degree in 4 years. He's going to finish with his master's degree in 1.5 years. These are the kind of people that St. Augustine is producing yearly and daily to be positive citizens in our community. I want to thank everybody again. We'll see you this Saturday, but know that we do have other activities going on throughout the week. And we always say it, and we mean it from the bottom of our hearts. Falcon Pride, and it's personified. So have a good one, and thank you again for supporting Falcon Athletics.